Hi guys, Jeff Quiros here once again with another in my series on my life as an artist. And I'm going to get into college days again today. This is part 3 of my college days. I went to University of California at Davis between 1966 and 1971. And like I mentioned before, that turned out to be the golden age of the UC Davis art department. But today I wanted to get into another little tangent I took there. I got very interested in theatrical set design for a while when I was at Davis. Probably, 2 or 3 years worth of time at Davis. I got very involved in the set design and the drama department. I didn't take a whole lot of classes in theatrical set design, but for some reason I hung out a lot around the set shop and became good friends with a guy named Gene Chesley. Gene is one of the people I consider to be a mentor in my life as an artist, and he was an incredibly kind and wonderful guy and a very good teacher. He was a theatrical set designer and taught theatrical set design. Moreover, he was a theater historian and later in life got into restoring theaters and wrote a book about historical theaters and that sort of thing, and became pretty well known in that area. As a matter of fact, there's even an award for theatrical excellence given in Northern California. It's a pretty prestigious award called the Gene Chesley Award. It's in its 30th year now. Unfortunately, for me and the rest of the world, Gene had a very short life. He died at the age of 46 in 1981. Like I said before, a very warm, engaging person. I mean, he taught students pretty much by letting them get on with it and kind of directing them in a very nurturing way. He was a really, really incredible guy. By way of example, a couple of examples. One was he asked me to do the poster and the handbill for a play that he was doing the set design on, Shakespeare, As You Like It. It was a hippie version of As You Like It, and I didn't help on the set design on that particular production, but I did the poster and the playbill. And I remember going to him when I finished the poster, and he said, "Oh, I really like that." And I said, "I think I want to redo the nose because it's too dark and too busy." And he said, "No, it's fine. It looks really good." Anyway, he was very nurturing that way, and not critical in the least. He taught me a lot about that set design and a lot about theater, and it was. I wish I'd stayed in touch with him after college. Another great example of his warm, nurturing attitude was he asked me to do this. To help him with the backdrop for another production. I forget even what production it was, but the backdrop was a huge piece of canvas that covered the entire back side of the stage. The stage was probably a good 100 feet wide, 75 feet high or so. I mean, it's a huge piece of canvas, and it was mounted on an elevator. The whole wall, back wall of the set shop, was this frame where you could mount pieces of set onto it, and then lower the entire wall, like on an elevator, down into the floor, so you could get to the top of it, and then raise it up when you needed to paint the middle and the bottom and that sort of thing. It was an incredible piece of machinery. Anyway, he wanted me to take this, make this rather simple set of some mountains and a sun, like a sunset kind of a scene or something like that. and he had a picture of what he wanted, and he wanted me to do a grid, to make a grid on the paper he'd given me, and then make a larger set of squares on this backdrop, and then fill in the grid to give the outline that somebody else would then paint later of this sunset backdrop. Anyway, I thought about it for a while, and I, never wanted to do what I was told. I thought, that's kind of a pain to put all these lines there and make this big grid and stuff like that. I'd rather just draw it, So I got this very long stick, maybe 75-foot long piece of 1x2. Pretty heavy. It was kind of hard to carry around. Anyway, I took a giant piece of charcoal and taped it to the end of this stick, and I stood there in the middle of the set shop and just drew this the outline for this backdrop, standing right in the middle of the thing, and using this giant charcoal stick. And people came around and were just like in awe at this thing, just like watching me and just laughing and making all kinds of comments and things like that. Anyway, so Gene walked into the shop. I was just about done. He walked into the shop and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, I didn't want to do the grid. It was too much, it was a lot of work. And so I just figured I'd do it this way. Anyway, he just looked at it and said, okay, well, there you go. It's okay. And anyway, I got away with that. Later on, I found out that Henri Matisse used a big long stick like that sometimes to paint huge murals. And I didn't know it at the time, but I guess I had someone going ahead of me with this technique. Anyway, there was another fellow in the set design area at Davis named Dan Snyder, who was who I did take a class from, and he was another inspirational teacher, although I didn't become really good friends with him. I remember he had us do another backdrop, except just a sketch for it, or a painting for it, of Chekhov's The Cherry Orchard. And again, I was pretty lazy. I didn't bother reading the play. I just did a painting in the right shape for a backdrop of a cherry orchard. Anyway, I got an A on it, and no one was any the wiser that I'd never read the play. Anyway, there were so many other things in those college days. Jose Arguelles was an art history teacher of mine. He was kind of a bad influence in a lot of ways, in that he was very into drugs and expanding one's mind with LSD and other kinds of psychedelics. And he actually started the whole Earth Festival, which is still going on at UC Davis for 30 years now. And I was in the first Whole Earth Festival, which was part of his class in 1969. And we put on the first Whole Earth Festival as part of our art experience, and it's become a legend now. So many other things I could get into about those days at Davis. Like I said before, I mostly did pen and ink drawings. I also did a few paintings here and there, and not usually for a class, and some of them I never actually even finished. There's so much more I could get into, but I'd like to thank you for listening, and please share this with your friends. You can find all the other episodes on YouTube. Just look for my under my name, Jeff Quiros, on YouTube, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye-bye.